Hi there, my name is Alice Antonelli, and I'm a Director of Advisory Services at Nonprofit Finance Fund. Thanks so much for joining me. We have prepared a series of short videos to talk about FASB accounting standards update to help nonprofit leaders like you navigate and make the most out of these changes. In this video, I'll cover the who, what, why, and when of these updates and what they mean for you. We also prepared a second video that goes into a little bit more of the detail around some of these changes so that you have a little clearer sense about how these changes will affect your day-to-day financial management. So who is FASB and what does FASB stand for? The Federal Accounting Standards Board, or FASB, is an independent nonprofit organization that establishes financial accounting and reporting standards in the United States. FASB standards are also known as Generally Accepted Accounting Principles, or GAAP, and they govern the preparation of financial reports. GAAP essentially is an accounting rule book that organizations follow when creating financial statements. It's helpful to know that FASB doesn't govern, monitor, guide, or regulate. They set standards. So what's changing? Well, the way financial statements will be presented, and also there'll be some enhancements or new footnotes. I also call throughout this presentation footnotes disclosures, so you might hear disclosures or footnotes, either to describe the same thing. The objective is to continue to meet the evolving needs of a dynamic financial reporting environment and to improve financial information provided to some of your stakeholders, like donors, grantors, creditors or lenders, and other users of financial statements like preparers or CPAs. So here are a couple of the key updates listed for you on the slide. Not all of these updates will apply to you, but I just want you to know what's changing. So the first one is net assets or net asset classifications. Historically, we've had 3 sets of net asset classifications: unrestricted, temporarily restricted, and permanently restricted. And now we're going down to 2. In expenses, traditionally, what we've done is been required to put forth our expenses by function or activity, if you will. But now FASB is requiring us to put forth our expenses also in a natural classification, meaning salaries, utilities, consulting expenses, and there will also be an analysis to see the natural classifications alongside of function or activity. Some of us have underwater endowments, and here FASB is updating the accounting and the disclosure requirements for those underwater endowments. On investment return, FASB is going to require a net presentation of investment expenses with investment return on the statement of statement of activities. Now with cash flow, now we're going to get a choice. We can do it by the direct method or indirect method. And lastly, and I do believe most importantly, FASB is going to ask us to tell us a little bit more, tell our stakeholders a little bit more about liquidity and availability. So under liquidity, we're going to be asked to tell how we manage liquidity. And on availability, we're going to be asked to tell our stakeholders how much financial assets do we have available to pay our expenses. So why is there an update? Well, the new guidance is intended to simplify and improve how not-for-profits classify net assets, as well as the information provided in financial statements and notes about liquidity, financial performance, and also cash flows. It's also important to note that it's an update and not a major overhaul. So the new guidance is intended to improve, provide, and reduce. So under improve, FASB is hoping that not-for-profits will be able to communicate their financial story in a more effective way. It's also going to improve how leaders assess financial indicators and also improving the consistency across different nonprofits and also transparency in financial reporting. Under provides, FASB is hoping that the new update will provide more useful information about an organization's resources by simplifying financial statements and also enhancing those disclosures or footnotes. And FASB is very interested in being able to reduce the cost and also complexities in preparing financial statements. But I will note, the first time you make this update, most likely it's going to cost a little bit extra. So when do things change? Well, the update was issued back in August 2016, and since that time, a handful of nonprofit organizations have early adopted, if you will. But now is crunch time, because for calendar year organizations, that means that organizations that have a fiscal year end of December 2018 is the year that they will have to change. So we're about to complete 2018, and for those organizations, when their CPA comes on site to do their audits, they will look back to this 2018 year and make the FASB updates. Now, for those of you who have fiscal years that end on a different month, like March, June, August, you will make the changes to your 2019 fiscal year. So for those of you who end on a June fiscal year, that means that next July, when your CPA or preparer comes on site to do the audit, they will look back to that 2019 year that ends June 30th, 2019. So what does this mean for you? So here are some of the things that you'll be doing differently. You're going to change how you prepare and also present your financial statements and also some of those notes and disclosures in the following categories. So for net assets, we're going to look to just 2 categories of net assets, not 3. On expenses, we are now going to be required to list out the natural classifications like salary, utilities, rent, expense. And on liquidity, we've never done this before. So we're going to be able to tell our story to our stakeholders. We're going to tell them a little bit about how we manage liquidity and also what financial assets we have available to be able to pay expenses. Hopefully, and what FASB is super excited about, is that this will be a way to tell your financial story more effectively. Understanding how much cash you actually have to pay your bills and being able to tell that to outsiders. Also, communicating how you manage your organization's finances in a general and more global way. And then lastly, we're hoping all of this gives you a way to explore how to save for the future. So are you interested in learning more? I'm glad to hear that, because there is another link or another video that we've prepared for you that tells you a little bit more detail on net assets, expenses, and liquidity. So I hope you join us. Thanks so much. And you can get more information about Nonprofit Finance Fund at the following websites. And also, if you're interested in learning more, please contact us at consulting@nff.org. Thank you.